Welcome back to Talking Shop. We are picking up right after where we left off last time. So Luke chapter 4, beginning at verse 31 to the end of the chapter. We're going to go through this. We're going to talk about some sermon ideas, and we're going to give you, again, way more probably than you need because it's a big text. Mm-hmm. There's a lot in there. There's a handful of really good sermons I think you kind of see kind of play out. So enjoy the conversation. As always, if things come to mind when you're listening, share them. Throw them in the comments below. That helps everybody, helps kind of all of us be better at this task. Like and subscribe. Let's get after it.
Spit out my Lord in every way, yet I'm still welcome in the arms.
All right, Luke chapter 4, 31 through 44. We pick up right after where we left off last time and just continue the story. And they actually hang together pretty well. It's too much material to try to bring it all together. I don't know how you do that. Yeah. But it is, like as we were working through it, I was thinking it is very much where in his hometown there's opposition, these things. Mm-hmm. He moves off. The end of this is the exact opposite. They're like, instead of wanting to throw him off a cliff, they're like, please stay, don't ever go anywhere. Yeah. So it's very radically different as he moves away from his hometown.
And you see his words have authority here too.
Yeah.
So the speaking is the same. He's doing the exact same thing. Yeah.
And
that's
we
interesting.
see the same results today with the preaching of the gospel.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes.
So he goes down to Capernaum, city of Galilee, which last week they've heard he had done great things there, and he's like, let me show you some more. So he goes down, and he does what he normally does, as we're learning. He teaches on the Sabbath.
Yeah. Maybe he's even got a stump speech. Maybe he uses Isaiah 61 again.
Yes, maybe that's right. Today that's fulfilled in your hearing. Oh my goodness!
It's another Jubilee day, guys.
Is it a Jubilee or a round robin?
Yeah. The response is awesome, right? They are astonished at his teaching, and this is, you mentioned this already, Matt. Like the basis of that is because his words possess authority, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you're getting to where we talked last week about the struggle between hearing what they heard and what they see. Mm-hmm. Here, it seems to be it's of greater effect.
Yeah, they're acknowledging that word actually does something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to see how much it actually does.
Yeah, because who's there? Who happens to be in the synagogue that morning?
A demon-possessed man.
Yeah.
Same as all of us have in our congregations every week.
Well, according to Martin Luther, all of us walk into church before being baptized possessed.
That's right.
Sure.
Get exercise.
Yeah. So man with an unclean demon, it says, and that guy knows exactly who Jesus is.
Yeah.
The demon, that is.
Yeah.
What does he say? What's his big response to the rival of Christ in the synagogue?
So going back to the Canaanite wedding, what this between you and me, woman? This time we have the demon saying, "What between you and me, Jesus?" Or what between us, actually?
Yeah, it's plural.
There's a plural there in the demon, which foreshadows a little bit later on in Gennesaret. Mm-hmm.
Have you come to destroy us?
Jesus of Nazareth, so he uses kind of isn't this Joseph's son, going back to last week again. Mm-hmm. Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are.
Yeah, so it's brilliant. It's a combination of these things. You are Jesus of Nazareth, but I know who you really are. Yeah. And his fear is you've come to destroy us. Yeah. Right? So it's really is a pulling of these things together now. You get that complete a proclamation of that, if you will, from a demon.
Well, and going to the messianic expectations, if you will, the people are all looking for the Messiah who's going to destroy Rome. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the demonic spiritual forces go, oh no, you've come to do something much greater.
Yeah.
They get it.
They get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you could really play on. There's a bigger enemy than just those that we see or that we fight in our everyday lives.
That's interesting.
And then it just gets back to the term of destroy us, right? Like it shows his power and majesty because he is the creator. He is the one who gives life and brings life, right? Because he is the Word, and now he has the ability to destroy it because he is the creator. No, none of us. No, that's what they say about Satan, right? The devil can't create life. He can't destroy life. He could only, tear you down, and that's why
bind it up,
and
And you don't ever get an explicit answer from the Lord regarding that issue.
Yeah.
Have you come to destroy us? It's interesting though, if you leap forward, you got to import this from 1 John though in his epistle. For this reason, it's a good epiphany verse, is why I'm saying it. For this reason, the Son of God was manifested to destroy the works of the devil. So we do get the answer eventually.
Yeah. Or you could even go to Revelation, right? Or is that Matthew 25? The place the fire prepared for the Satan and his demons.
Yeah.
So Jesus says, let's have a talk. No, he says, he basically says, shut up, right? Just be silent. And then he casts him out, says, come out of him. And, again, I mean, it's a great thing to point out in preaching. The demon has no choice but to obey. Right? So, and you get it, it throws him down, but even that doesn't hurt him. The guy is unharmed in that regard.
Yeah.
And it comes up.
As Mike said, a clean exorcism.
Yeah, nice, clean exorcism. That's what everyone likes.
But the question of why silence them if they do get it, and they get it right, he's announcing it, the Messianic secret. We've addressed it before. But this is early on in Jesus' ministry. He wants to set the table.
Yes.
He wants to systematically disclose who he is, because everybody's got the misconception of the Messiah anyway. So he wants to lay it down and be his own.
But the other fact of the matter is, we know that if this was revealed to all people, what would they immediately do? Put him on their shoulders, carry him to Jerusalem, and say, let's take this place down, right?
Which we won't get until Lent, but which is almost a temptation of Jesus. You can forego all the suffering. You can just get the accolades. You can just you can move past all of that. And so he says, nope.
But it also goes back to last week's reading about how he walked through their midst and he just went away. It's because, once again, it's not his time.
So all this confirms when he first starts teaching and it says that he speaks with authority. This is, as you were saying earlier, Matt. This is the demonstration of that. The demon comes out, and the response of the people is, "This is the guy. I mean, look it. He commands the unclean spirits, and they do what he says.
And they come out.
Right? They come out. Right."
FYI, this is how you do an exorcism. With Jesus' name, his authority, not ours. His authority.
Preferably with his presence, but we don't always get that.
So and then news spread about it. We were kind of laughing about it, how it spreads throughout Capernaum. If you've been to Capernaum, it ain't all that big.
No.
Just yell from one end of the street, right?
George, check us out. But it is. So the town, the small town on the Sea of Galilee there, the word goes out. So then he gets up, and where do they go?
Goes to Simon's house.
Yeah.
And his mother-in-law's house.
Under the spaceship chapel. Sorry, again, a Capernaum joke. Got to look it up.
Go to Capernaum. You can look it up if you've not been there. It is cool. They built a, I guess it is a chapel technically, but it's like it's a museum of sorts, and it sits right over what they believe to be Peter's mother-in-law's home.
And sorry, we're going beyond your preaching, but the reason they think of that is because it was actually built out. They found some graffiti there about Peter's house, but it was built out into an octagon. Which they don't think was the original structure, and so they built this octagon chapel actually over the top of it. but it hovers over. And
Yeah,
so
it does.
It's kind
It
of this
does
spaceship.
look like a spaceship. It does. It really does. And so they go there, and she's sick. This is sort of a famous story. Has a fever, and they appeal to her. And what does Jesus do?
He rebukes or commands, just like he did with the demon,
Yeah.
Same
to
word.
the fever.
Yeah, in other words, I mean, this is what he does.
Yeah.
The opposition or whatever, the things that are sick or bring evil upon people, he can drive them away with his words.
Well, and going back to your kind of creator, he's the authority or creator of not only the spiritual realm but also the physical realm. So you could play with that in a sermon if you wanted to. Discount everything we've said before and just focus on that if you want this sermon to be.
True.
Because you're not going to be able to do both.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yeah. And he stands up, rebukes the fever, leaves, and she gets up, and she. My joke is always she gets up to make them sandwiches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's taking care of them. It's her house. That's what she would do.
Yeah, if you want to go to that, this is going to be the Havdalah service. It's the closing service of the Sabbath because, again, we're on a Sabbath, and we'll get even more of that when the day is done. And so the Havdalah service actually starts with the women bringing the service about. And so without the women in the house, the service cannot start.
Oh.
And so this is a place where you can see Jesus restore the order of creation so that the order of creation
nice.
can then serve their God and serve
But
each other.
to add on that,
You could preach on that. That's pretty good. That was good. Yeah.
but the other thing that we mentioned about this before is that Peter's mom is the head woman in the house.
Right.
So it has to be the head woman who starts the service.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it starts with Proverbs 31, women of valor who can find, or woman of valor who can find.
Right.
So
So the sun is setting.
New
Word has
day.
gotten out. Everyone's bringing everybody. They're bringing all who are sick with various diseases, and he's laying his hands on them. And it is interesting. The detail is like he places his hands on each one
I
of
like
them.
that.
Like it's this.
I like that.
I don't know what you do with that, but it's not like just sort of like a, okay, go, you're fine. It's like it's a very intimate.
Yeah.
He's touching them.
well, I think you could play with that in the way I've done it in a sermon where, we don't have a way to do it in English, but I say to the congregation sometimes, all y'all, going back to are forgiven.
Sure.
But then individually, singular, you are forgiven. Like this word is spoken to each one.
Yeah, we do
individually.
on
So,
Maundy Thursday every year. Part of our service, we do that long form in our hymnal for the corporate confession absolution, and in it, so there's like a longer confession called for, but they come up individually, and you absolve each one. One, we have them just like we would communion. I go down the line, and so everyone's has a hand placed on their head. Absolution is spoken. So if you have that kind of practice, you can allude to that sort of thing.
Well, that's where I was. My thoughts were going with communion because each one gets Christ.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's very personal and intimate.
But the nice thing is it also just shows his authority in many ways, right? There's the verbal command, and then now the touch. When you think about the lady of 12 years who touches the fringe of him, like the power of him just leaves. This is like immediate touch.
Yeah.
And so, because it doesn't say that he commands them, he just touches them, and they're like healed.
Yes.
Demons come out of many, and they cry, "You are the Son of God." Again, the demons are proclaiming who this is. So they've already had the one say, "You're the Holy One of God." Now you get "You're the Son of God," and he rebukes the demons. He will be made known in his own way, his own term. And at the end of the day, because this isn't what makes Jesus Jesus in a sense. The driving out of demons is a testament to his authority.
Yeah.
But what he's come to do is die.
Well, it's a truth, and I think maybe you could go to the Paul that wisdom we do pass on wisdom to those who are spiritual. That the spiritual realm knows the realities of God before the physical realm does.
Yeah.
And so the spiritual realm knows all of these things, and it's going to have to be made manifest to the physical realm.
Yeah.
So
Right. And when it was day, he departed went to desolate place. People are going out there anyway.
Because he hates people and just wants to get away from them. Oh, sorry, that's me. Sorry, that's...
It sounds exhausting.
No, he's an introvert.
I'm imprinting myself.
And this is what I meant, I guess, when we started, is their desire is that he never leaves.
Yeah.
Like he remains
as opposed
here.
to Nazareth where they're trying
they're
to
going to throw him off a cliff here.
We'll help
They're
you
like,
leave.
Don't, yeah. And so there's this celebration of him in that regard.
Yeah.
And so here is him pushing away, saying this needs to continue on. His public ministry is still going, and he's come to proclaim the active rule and reign of God. And so...
And in each scenario, he doesn't remain. He doesn't linger.
Right.
Because of the priority of preaching.
Yeah.
And this isn't maybe something your people will pick up, but Capernaum, northern shore of the Sea of Galilee, the final note of this is he goes and preaches to the synagogues in Judea. Mm-hmm. He actually leaves the whole region. Goes down the Jordan River, and is now down probably around Jericho and Jerusalem and Bethlehem.
Yeah.
He completely departs from them, separates himself from them, and moves on to a different place. So,
but it's kind of nice where it goes back to that situation, the Mount Transfiguration, right? Because now they're actually seeing God's glory through Jesus doing the work here. And then once again, they're like, hey, don't leave us, stay with us. And they're in an isolated place. And obviously Peter does the same thing, right? Yeah. And it's because the Holy Spirit is upon them and is revealing to them that it's good to be with God versus, you know, to be separated, to be apart from him.
And yet his ministry goes on. It doesn't stay there. It moves past.
And the Spirit's going to be wherever the gospel is rightly preached. The good news is proclaimed, and that's what's going to advance the kingdom.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, gentlemen. Take a minute to like and subscribe. Share your insights on this text if you're preaching it, how you might work at it, and what you're going to sort of focus on. And share it with everybody. It's helpful for everybody. Check out crafterpreaching.com. There's stuff there. And God bless your preaching.